President of the Industrial Minerals Association, and we appreciate you joining us today on this teleconference. A few housekeeping issues before we get started. Everyone on the phone will be on mute, so you won't be able to speak at all during the teleconference other than the presenters. If you have questions, and we hope that you do, simply type those in at any time during the webinar, and we'll read them to the presenter and get your questions answered at the end of the webinar. Also, the slides for the webinar will be sent out within 24 hours, usually after the webinar, and the slides that you'll receive will be synced to a recording of this webinar, so you'll be able to watch it again. And again, we do appreciate you taking the time to join us today. We should go for definitely no longer than an hour and a half, and we'll go ahead and get started, and I'll introduce our speakers. Our first speaker, Gabriel Tompkins, is with IndustrySafe, and our second speaker, Robert Carlson, who's going to add some information at the end, is the Director of Health and Safety at Fairmont Minerals. Several of our member companies have recommended the IndustrySafe software, so we thought it would be a good idea to share it with others and kind of get an idea of what it's all about. So allow me to introduce Gabe. Gabe Tompkins is a project manager at IndustrySafe with 10 years of experience in developing and implementing systems to track safety data. Gabe works with small, medium, and large organizations in all phases of implementing the IndustrySafe safety management system, from needs assessments and requirements analysis to setup and configuration to ongoing support and development. And again, Bob Carlson is Director of Health and Safety with Fairmont Minerals, and Fairmont is a proud IMA member. So with that, Gabe, I'm going to turn it over to you, and we appreciate your help today.
Okay. Well, thank you all for taking the time today to watch this little presentation on IndustrySafe. Again, as I said, there will be the slides will go out after the webinar, and there's also some contact information here for anyone who's interested afterwards in getting some more follow-up and actual demos and things like that. So everyone should be able to see my screen, and I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about TRA. TRA is the name of the company, and then we make the IndustrySafe product. And then give you a little overview of IndustrySafe, and allow Bob to talk about how they're using IndustrySafe at Fairmont Minerals. TRA is headquartered in Philadelphia. We're a privately held company and have been in business since 1990, providing safety consulting and safety software. We have a strong team here with a real commitment to customer service and quality software, and we really do have a heavily experience in the U.S. safety regulations. Our management team consists of Ken Korak, the president. Claire Epstein is the vice president in charge of all the IT side and all development of the IndustrySafe product. I have a manager of technology, myself in charge of the business services, and then a team of programmers, analysts, and subject matter experts. Some of the vertical markets, in addition to the mining sector, where IndustrySafe also makes sense, and we have a wide range of clients in all types of verticals. So in addition to mining and things like that, there's transportation, construction, manufacturing, energy, utilities, things like that. This is just a brief list of some of our clients. So you can see there's a broad range of companies in both vertical markets and also size of the organization. IndustrySafe, as we'll see, is a very scalable and configurable product, so you really can configure it to meet the needs of your organization. Some of the benefits that our clients see from IndustrySafe is an improved safety environment. Obviously, the regulatory compliance is a big factor in that. People do want to standardize processes and procedures across organizations, different business units and locations and things like that. And they also want the ability to really view reports and do trending and analysis quickly, either across multiple locations or within a single location, and the ability to drill down into the data and really do some high level as well as detailed analysis. IndustrySafe, as far as a return on investment, allows you to reduce your lost days, your property equipment damage, your insurance premiums, loss payouts, OSHA fines, and things like that. And clients who have implemented it really have seen a strong return on their investment. The value proposition that we offer with regards to other safety management systems is we offer an integrated suite of modules that combine different aspects of safety, from incidents to corrective actions, inspections, near-miss tracking, all those types of things, all can get tracked within IndustrySafe. As I mentioned before, it's a very configurable product. So in addition to us helping you configure, you as a safety professional administrator can go in and change the software, update it to reflect your organizational structure, and allow you to track the data that you want to track. We strive to make IndustrySafe a very easy to use and intuitive program so that frontline employees as well as more sophisticated safety professionals are all able to use the same product. And at the same time, we want to provide detailed analytics and value pricing. The different modules that are available, we have 3 different packages. All this can be configured and customized based on your needs. But the core modules that we offer are dashboards, incident tracking, inspections, corrective actions, hazards, training tracking. We offer telephone and online support with any option. And we also have, for inspections, a mobile app that allows you to conduct inspections offline out in the field. Some additional modules that we offer is a home module. It has a calendar and a task and event function. We offer public web forums that allow employees who are not users of the system to report an incident, a hazard, or an observation. We have claims modules for tracking workers' comp, auto, and general liability claims. An observations module for conducting behavioral-based safety observations, an industrial hygiene module, and then also the mobile app that I mentioned. I'm going to go through and give you a brief description of each of the modules, and then I believe we'll have time. We can actually go in and just take a look at the software itself. Our dashboard allows you to look at a broad range of metrics, from incident metrics, incident rates, things like that, incidents by injury type, all those types of things. You can easily compare them with corrective action or inspection or hazard metrics. Each user can pick and choose the indicators they want to see. They can filter it by a location, by a time, and it's all in real time. So as the data in IndustrySafe gets updated, the dashboard automatically displays the latest data. Our incidents module allows you to track any type of incident, whether it's a near miss, an employee injury, property damage incident. It'll automatically notify the appropriate users once an incident has been entered. It'll allow you to automatically generate OSHA logs and MSHA logs and things like that. And then also provides links to corrective actions and hazards. The inspections module, we have some pre-built checklists that are in IndustrySafe that you can use. You can also import and upload your own checklists, and then you're able to track compliance rates. You're able to schedule inspections, set up reoccurrence patterns or frequencies. So if it's a monthly inspection or an annual inspection, you can set that reoccurrence. And then again, you can link corrective actions and hazards and attachments right to an inspection. So if you have an item that was deficient, you could take a photo of it, attach it to that item, and then add a corrective action right to it as well to get that problem resolved. We also offer the mobile app for offline conduction of inspections, and you can use an iPad or a tablet in the field as well. The Corrective Actions module allows you to track corrective actions generated from any of the other modules, as well as corrective actions added right in that module. You can automatically assign them to people and then automatically have them emailed once a corrective action has been assigned, before it comes due, as well as if it goes overdue. We have a lot of reminder alerts and then also weekly summaries of all of a person's open corrective actions. Our training module allows you to track any type of training. You can enter in or populate the catalog or the list of classes that you offer, and then you can actually schedule or record the results of training, identify which employees were trained. You can also identify training requirements based on job titles or profiles, and then run reports to see which employees need to be retrained or have not taken a required class. We also have automatic notifications built into the training module when employees either do not attend a class they were scheduled to attend, or before they come due, or when they're assigned, and things like that. The hazards module allows you to identify and categorize hazards. It can be set up so the frontline employees can report a hazard or an unsafe condition, have a safety professional give it an evaluation, and then either link it to a corrective action or enter in an analysis of the hazard there. The home module has a safety calendar built in. It has a document library where you can upload and provide documents to your end users, either safety plans, manuals, procedures, things like that. It has links to Outlook for the tasks and events, and you can set up reoccurrence patterns for tasks and events. So if you had a weekly safety meeting or things like that, or a permitting that you needed to follow up on once a year, you could set those up. Our public web forms allow your frontline employees to go in and report incidents and hazards and observations, so they don't have to be a user. They just go to a web link that you provide them. They fill out a very simple form, and then it enters the data in IndustrySafe and notifies the appropriate users. Our observations module allows you to track behavioral-based safety observations, allows you to track your own set of categories and subcategories, and do detailed reporting and analytics based on that. Our claims module allows you to link claims to incidents, and you can track workers' comp, vehicle, and property damage claims, as well as general liability. You can generate state-specific first reports of injury, and you can also integrate it with a third-party administrator or another claim system so that you can automatically submit claims from IndustrySafe to that system. Our industrial hygiene module allows you to track ongoing monitoring and exposure assessments, and then generate either logs based on personal monitoring, area sampling, and then look at the results and notify employees and things like that. As far as general common functionality or features that are available in all the modules, as I mentioned, in each module there's automatic as well as semi-automatic emails, alerts, and notifications. You can always attach photos or documents to any of the records in IndustrySafe. All of our modules have pretty powerful search, query, and export features so that you can do your own trending analysis in addition to all the reports that we provide you. And then there are dashboard metrics for all the modules. As we mentioned, IndustrySafe is very configurable. So we allow you to add and edit the fields on the forms. You can rename forms. You can configure the reports. You can modify the email template. So if you didn't want an employee's name included in the email alert that's sent out about new incidents, you can turn that off, things like that. You can configure the incident workflow. You can establish or set up your own inspection checklists, and then control user access down to the form or the module and what the users can do within those. And you can also restrict user access based on location or division or region or however you'd like to. IndustrySafe is provided as software as a service. The cloud model where it's available anywhere you have an internet connection. It's available 24/7. So we host it on our servers, take care of all the support and maintenance. All you really do is go to a website, enter in your username and password, and log in, and then you're able to do what you need to do. There's nothing you really need to install on your end other than have an internet browser. We also install all of the updates. It's seamless to the user, so we simply notify you once an update's coming out, and then you'll be notified of the date and time, and then it's updated, and you can go in and use the new features and functionality. And we strive, again, to make it very simple, easy to use, and cost effective. As far as customer support goes, we have a rigorous testing program here at IndustrySafe for all the updates we do. We have a dedicated customer support team. We provide online and telephone support, and it's all included with your annual, monthly, or your annual or monthly fees that you pay. We also provide implementation services. So depending on the size of your organization and what it is you're looking to do, we can scale our implementation services to match your needs, but we can provide needs assessments or gather requirements for what it is you need to track or how you want to track things, what you need to track in IndustrySafe, how IndustrySafe should be configured. We can assist you with those configurations or show you how to do them yourselves. We can set up data integration, so we can import HR data. We can import, hours worked, all that type of stuff can be imported into IndustrySafe on a regular basis, so you don't have to worry about adding that manually. We can provide training, both on-site as web-based, and then we provide maintenance and support. Different deployment options depending on the size of your organization and the scale of your implementation. You can simply go to IndustrySafe.com and sign up online. Or if you wanted to roll it out enterprise-wide, we can go through a more complicated RFP process. It is a very quick time frame, so we can, if you sign up today, we can have your site set up within the next 24 hours. And as I mentioned before, we offer the wireless and offline applications as well. For more information on IndustrySafe, you can go to IndustrySafe.com. If you'd like a free demo, you simply click on the demo button there on our website. We also offer our regular webinars, and pricing is available on our website. This is the email address for one of our sales associates who'd be glad to answer any additional questions. Are there any questions? Looks like we've got a little bit of time, so I thought I'd just log into IndustrySafe real briefly and give people a quick tour of the site itself. Okay, so this is our website, IndustrySafe.com. If you wanted to sign up for a demo, you can click this. Also has our contact information there. I'm going to log into our demo site. Just to give you a brief overview of the look and feel of the software. This is our home module that displays all your tasks and events, your open items, has a link to company activity so you can see what else is going on. You can see your recent items, and you can quickly follow up on any open corrective actions, inspections, or incidents that you have. Our dashboard, as I mentioned, has data from all the modules gathered in one place, so you can easily track the different indicators that you're looking to track, your different performance metrics. Each user can set up their dashboard to see the metrics they want, and you can filter and sort it based on location, as well as based on date range and a few other factors. You can also configure your goals. So for example, here this time lag in reporting incidents. If you want all your incidents reported, so you have 2 days to report an incident, and then once it goes past 5 days, that's considered the red zone. You can configure this metric to show those goals. And you can modify these, so you can drag around panels. You can resize them. And you can click the Show Hide Data links here to view the data. If you wanted to drill down and see a particular, which of your incidents involve lost time, you can see that. And so that has a lot of different drill down capabilities built into the software. Again, all users can pick and choose the metrics they want to see. We have things related to incidents. We have things related to, you look at corrective actions by % completed on time, hazards by type, incidents by root cause, employee injuries by body part, things like that. You can also look at your incident rates. So here in this employee injuries tab, we have your total case incident rate, your DART rate, lost time incident rate. You can look at those by month. And then also the number of days without an OSHA recordable incident, number of restricted duty days, and the number of missed days. And then again, employee injuries by area of the body, body part, nature of injury, all those factors. And then again, we have metrics related to hazards, inspections, corrective actions, observations, so you can look at your % safe over time, % safe by category, all that information. And then also training, so you can keep track of which classes you've offered the most, which have the most number of employees that are due for training, your overall attendance rate, pass rate, and percent of employees with expired training. All the other modules are listed across the top. So if we look at incidents, all the other modules look very similar. And I'll just give you a sample of a couple of these. The summary screen here lists all the records in the system. You can search for particular records by clicking that search icon and look for things in a particular business group. So you just want to look for all the employee injuries. So you can easily search the data. You can then export the data to Excel. You can also click on a link to view an existing record. And here it'll give you a summary of all the attachments, all the corrective actions, claims, things like that. And then you can actually look at the data itself for an incident. IndustrySafe has a lot of autofill features built in. So once you import your employee data, you can easily search for, when you're adding an incident, search for the employee, and it'll fill in that employee's hierarchy, their department, their job title, and all those types of things. So it makes it very easy to fill out things. You don't have to remember a lot about the individual employee, and you can simply select the appropriate fields to complete the incident. It also, IndustrySafe has smart forms built in, so you can identify if an incident does not involve a vehicle or injuries, then you're going to get a short form to fill out. If, say, you answered yes that employee injuries were involved in the incident, it's going to ask you about those and allow you to complete the details necessary for an OSHA log. And here now in the incident investigation form, I said that an employee was injured, so it's going to ask me questions about the employee injury. If you check any of these boxes here, other than first aid or none of the above, it's going to flag it as OSHA recordable, and then it'll allow you to populate other related information. Some of the other modules, the inspections module, as I mentioned, we have a lot of checklists built into the system, and you can configure, you can put in your own categories, you can put in your own checklists. So here you can identify where the inspection occurred, who conducted it, the status, and then for each item you can identify whether it was okay or deficient. You can also configure the items in the checklist and the values in the status field. And then you can add attachments and corrective actions right to an item. A couple other modules I'll show you very briefly. As I mentioned, you can add corrective actions from any of the other modules. So here you can see we have corrective actions coming from incidents, inspections, observations. It'll tell you which record they came from. I can click on the link here to look at the corrective action. And I can actually click on the originating system ID here to go back to the inspection and see the details on the inspection. All corrective actions linked to the inspection will be listed here, and I can also hover over to see the details about that corrective action. Finally, the training module, as I mentioned, has a class catalog where you can specify what your courses are, what their retraining cycle is. So is it an annual class, a 3-year class, a monthly class? And then you can identify actual training records and enter employees that have been trained. So once you enter a class, you can enroll employees in the class. And you can filter for a particular job title, all your employees of a particular facility, and enroll those in the class. Once you've enrolled employees in a class, you can actually enter the results. So you can identify who attended, who passed the class, if they got a grade, what it was. And then finally, once you've done that, you can run reports to see who needs training, who's been retrained, or how many hours of training you've conducted and things like that. And the last thing I'll show you here is our system functions area. Within system functions, you're able to do a lot of configuration and setup. So as an EHS admin user, you can go into this edit form section. You can pick a recording form, a section you want to modify, and then you can add a field. You can change whether or not fields are required. You can turn fields off that you don't want to use. You can rename a field. And then you can also change drop-down values. So you can either add new ones, delete existing ones, or rename them. And finally, you can configure email alerts. So you can always turn alerts on or off. And for recurring alerts, you can change the frequency. So if you want a weekly reminder of all open incidents sent out, you can do that. That's all I had for today. I was going to turn it next over to Bob for a talk about how Fairmont Minerals is using IndustrySafe.
Yeah, I'd love to. And if you could leave that up on the screen there.
Sure.
Bobby, but before you get started, I have at least one person saying they can't see the screen, but it might just be related to their computer, and we apologize. It does seem to be working for us. Is it working for you, Bobby? Can you see Gabe's presentation?
Yes, I can.
Okay. All right. It must just be the one individual, so go ahead.
Okay. So I'll probably bounce around here a lot. You know, I've made notes thinking about IndustrySafe and its applicability within Fairmont Minerals. So it's going to be broad, shotgun approach to the things I talk about. I think one of the most important things that this has brought right off the bat to us is HIPAA compliance. We no longer are emailing and faxing and snail mailing, you know, medical type of documents, sensitive documents of that sort. It gets uploaded into IndustrySafe, and IndustrySafe itself, you will set it up by user for what they can see and what they are not allowed to see. So a great functionality for HIPAA compliance on sensitive medical type of information. Kind of along those lines, you know, at Fairmont, we basically have 4 divisions, we'll say. We have administrative, industrial sand, manufacturing, and logistics. So I can set up all of my hierarchies inside according to that. Then maybe by region is how we do it, and then by the facilities themselves. So I can even allow access by that sort of configuration as well. When you do have an incident, I require within 24 hours. So one of my fields is it requires them to acknowledge whether or not they are reporting that incident within a 24-hour period. Once they do that initial incident investigation form, which I think is like 16 to 19 questions, just the basics, who, what, when, where, and how to get a down and dirty notification out. You'll later follow that up with an accident investigation, which gets very detailed as you would want. But that initial incident form, you click on, you know, you fill out the 19 who, what, when, where, and how. And then when you hit send, for every single facility, we have it set up on who it will notify within that chain of command. So if it's in logistics, it's going to follow a different chain of command for an immediate email notification, as opposed to SAN. That makes sense. In addition to that, I have it set up so all the EH&S staff get an email whenever there's an incident, and as well as HR. So they're notified immediately and can look at opening up a case file, contacting workman's comp. It's nice because once we fill out that initial form, they've grabbed enough information that it also functions as our workman's compensation and insurance notification form. So it took out the redundancy of HR having to complete multiple forms after safety gives them that incident form. It's fantastic as well. When you look at this and you see how broad it can cover a safety and health management system, with this functionality in IndustrySafe, and then we also use SharePoint as our internal internet site. Between those two, my safety and health program at Fairmont Minerals is virtually paperless. I can do regulatory audits, whether it's OSHA or MSHA, insurance audits, or even OSAP 18001 certification audits, rarely ever even pulling out a true piece of physical paper. So I'm very proud of that in today's day and age. One thing you probably didn't see in this presentation is that there's an entire employee database behind this. You know, maybe you could go into that, Gabe.
Yeah.
So within that employee database, you know, you can just put in their name and location if you want, or you can get really detailed. You know, we have it set up so we know who their supervisor is, what shift they're working, their job title. I'll even in some of the other columns, the additional boxes that you can add in, I'll include their wife and kids' names in there, birthdays, you know, all of that can be added into there. So IndustrySafe is probably Fairmont Minerals' most concise employee database at the same time. I love the fact that it's a www outside of Fairmont Minerals. My IT department's fantastic, but this would just be one more thing that they would have to maintain, kind of a monkey on their back. Instead, IndustrySafe takes care of it. Being a www, you can access it from any computer, smartphone, laptop, hotel, computer, doesn't matter, as long as you have your username and password. I love that functionality. Along with the employee database, it also has a facility database where I'll store MSHA legal ID numbers. I put all of their federal employee identification numbers in there, insurance contacts, all of that. So within safety, again, this serves as a one-stop shop for anything and everything I'd want to know about a person or a facility. Building this history right now, I think we're just under 5 years of having IndustrySafe at Fairmont. I actually put in a couple years of post data back to 2007. So, you know, now I've got 6 hours of a database of this magnitude where when you do those metrics in there, those key metrics, I mean, I can drill down and find out how many left pinky fingers we've injured in the last 6 years. To that detail, it's wonderful. I like the fact that everything's configurable. I decide on the drop-down menus for, we'll say, the incident body parts. I can add as many or as little body parts, but everybody has the same choice. So it doesn't leave it to them as it would on a paper form when they're trying to find, like, reason for the injury, you know, the slip, trip, or fall, or a laceration, that sort of thing. They have to choose within my configuration, which also is easier for them. They love the fact that they just have to choose from a list and not try and figure it out off the top of their head. And you'd be surprised how many people don't know the difference between a sprain or a strain. And this kind of helps them through that. Within my own company, I talk a lot about a Pearl Harbor file. Both when we have an incident, you need to grab as much of that data immediately, interviews immediately, pictures, and build a file on it. Same thing when you have an MSHA citation or an OSHA citation that you believe you're going to contest. You immediately need to build that Pearl Harbor file. For both those instances, I would use the MSHA citation and create a corrective action for that and grab everything. I can download onto, whether it's an incident or corrective action, you can upload documents, PDFs, Excel sheets, pictures, whatever it may be. Now, again, a one-stop shop for anything and everything I need. Password protected. If I create I have my own safety department facility that only the safety and health staff can see. Nobody else in the company is privy to that. So even some of that sensitive material can be, we'll say, secured and easily accessible to all involved. No more having to email this stuff around. You just go to IndustrySafe and go into that file, and it's right there for you. It will download any of these reports to Word, Excel, or PDF, which is great. They do call this corrective action in here. within my management system, I've defined corrective actions to include best practices, preventative actions, and such. So that corrective actions are very broad. Taking it one step further, I consider it more of a work order that could include a corrective or preventative action. Both in my incident reporting and in my corrective action, I require root cause analysis. So you'll see little red stars next to certain portions of forms that you're completing, and that means it must be done, it must be completed, or you won't let you close that file out as done. And I decide that, so I can force their hand to prove that they've done a root cause analysis. I've even drilled down on the root cause analysis to find out why the incident happened, but then I make them do a root cause analysis on their corrective preventative action to make sure their answer, their solution is not creating another problem, which has helped us out a lot at Fairmont Minerals. I can go in there and I can look at user history for any user in the system and find out the last time they used IndustrySafe and what they did inside of IndustrySafe. So I can kind of pump, supervisors or plant managers and say, hey, you haven't been on here in 9 months. Do you really care about safety and health? Maybe you want to check out your site again. So it's kind of neat the way I can I can play God within the system with them. Oh, what else do I have here? Oh, especially for like the incidents, not so much in the corrective actions, I trust them to close those out, but every single incident cannot be closed. That case file in here cannot be closed until, except by me. So what they'll do is they'll change a field for like the top one there on the right under report status in the upper right corner here. It'll say ready for approval. That sends an email to me. Then I go in there and verify that I think they did it properly, that all the I's are dotted, all the T's are crossed. Gives me the chance to go in and see what they actually put in there, how and what and who. I can bounce over and make sure they completed their corrective action properly, and then I'm the only one that can turn that into a closed report status. I love that functionality. It's that checks and balance system. And it also allows me to literally have my finger on every single incident that happens inside of Fairmont. One last note that I'll make here is that Environmental has now started using IndustrySafe for their incident reporting, for their near-miss reporting, and for their corrective and preventative actions. So it does have that cross-functionality. I'll make one other point. All the way up to Joe Foto, our Executive Vice President of Operations, and also on the administrative side, our Vice President of Human Resources are notified of any and every incident, including first aid case. And they respond to it. I have active involvement all the way up the chain of the command, all the way up to the Executive Vice President, who see every single incident. It makes them aware of what's going on. They respond to it and ask inquiries. It's wonderful. All right. I think I've drilled into that pretty good.
Okay, I do have some questions from people.
Okay.
Ready? The first question is, I assume this can be configured for MSHA forms. We have OSHA and MSHA locations. Good question.
Yeah,
right now, it's really only configured for OSHA. I think if we get enough users on the MSHA side and put requests in, IndustrySafe is fantastic at helping out and adding that type of capability. The nice thing on the OSHA side is immediately once you've filled out all your reports that have the little red asterisks next to it, all the required fields within the OSHA reporting, it automatically does all of your OSHA logs. So at any given time, my OSHA logs are 100%. Doesn't matter what day or time of the year it is.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that because it is configurable, so while it is out of the box, it's set up for OSHA, you can add additional fields if you needed to at least track, additional fields required by MSHA or things like that. It's just the sort of automated reporting that's not quite available yet.
And another question is, how many languages are available other than English?
So what we do is we use Google Translate for our translation service. And any language that Google can translate into, we can as well. So I think if you go to translate.google.com, it lists all their options, which is, I believe, is like 20 or 30 languages.
Okay, someone has a question about Fairmont Minerals. How many employees do you have, and how many are only employed in safety? How many safety people do you have?
I have approximately 8 safety people for a company of 850 employees in 25 locations and 5 countries.
Okay, one more question. Is there a root cause analysis tool built into the incident investigation module?
There is, basically we allow you to track the results of the root cause analysis. It doesn't quite guide you through the process. You
can add fields, like I added fields to mine requiring a 5 why process.
Yeah, and that's pretty common what people will do. So in the incident analysis section, you can record the root cause, the additional factors, things like that. And then what, like Fairmont Minerals has done, a lot of people add fields for the 5 whys and things like that.
Go ahead and hit that root cause drop down and number of primary. Well, yeah, that one. So I mean, you can edit everything inside of here as well.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, like I say, I had to add the 5 why to cause them, to draw them into completing it.
Okay, and one final question that I have so far is there, and you mentioned that you use it for environmental issues as well, but this person wants to know if there's an environmental module with common environmental reports.
There is not a specific environmental module. We kind of basically use our existing modules to track that information. So for example, within incidents, as Bob mentioned, you can track environmental incidents and do reporting on that. In the inspections module, you can track your environmental inspections. And then as far as permitting and things like that go, most people, when they track that, they'll use our home module. They'll set up recurring tasks or events and things like in there to track some of that information.
Kind of along that lines, in the initial incident, if you say it's an environmental, it'll open up a completely different form.
Yeah.
Really, it's one giant form that would have anything and everything, but if you check no, like a vehicle was not involved, it collapses that whole section so you don't even have to look at it. But then if you say if there was a vehicle involved, it'll open up vehicle 1, and if you say there's 2 vehicles involved, it opens up a whole reporting section for another vehicle. That makes sense. So anything and everything that you're clicking on this first section here has effects into your incident investigation as to whether it's going to open or shut, such as witnesses. It doesn't. You can have 100 witnesses and it'll only open up enough of the report for the number of witnesses that you have. So all that functionality is there, and then you can always, like we say, add fields to get a little more detail to your company.
Okay, I don't see any other questions. Do either of you have anything else to add?
No, this is Gabe. The only other thing I'll say is for anyone who's interested in more information, please visit our website, IndustrySafe.com. There's links on here. You can click this demo button here, and it'll allow you to sign up. We'll email you a username and password for the demo site that we looked at today. And then there's also general contact information on there if you wanted to call us or email us with questions.
Okay, well, we really appreciate it, Gabe and Bobby. And Gabe, we might actually invite you to Hilton Head for our workshop to do this presentation again. There was quite a bit of interest on the webinar, and to do a little bit more of an extended presentation at our workshop that we do every year. So we might be talking to you about that. Hilton Head is an awful place to go to.
Yeah.
And I will mention to everybody on the call that we do have several more webinars scheduled. On July 31st, we have 4 of our companies talking about the sustainable development reports they did last year. And on August 6th, Bobby Carlson here is going to be talking about how to implement an 18001 safety and health program. And we have other things scheduled. Sage Grouse, MSHA is going to talk about their data retrieval system and how to navigate that on August 29th. And we have several other things scheduled, so I hope you'll join us for that. And thank you, everyone, for your time today. A couple people, it sounds like, had trouble with the audio, but we will be sending out a recorded version of this very shortly, today or tomorrow, and you'll have that. And thanks again, and everybody have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.